Hello. This is where I ramble for a minute on end until I give up and eventually go home. So, right now I'm going to just say this is probably going to be the start of a random podcast because I'm sitting in my bedroom at 8:44 and I'm kind of bored, so I'm just going to ramble. Um so right now, I don't know, it's just have a calculator. I don't know why that's important, but what I've always found kind of funny about calculators actually, which is kind of strange, is that I was thinking just like a calculator, why do teachers always be like they're like no calculators in real life? I'm like, no calculators in real life like in 1996. I'm sorry, but times are changing and Google is a coming. That's how it works, right? Just that's like what it's kind of funny. It's just I feel like that people are not going with the times, and I if that makes any sense. By that I mean no, you can't be heard. Um, oh yeah, Alex is here and no, I'm alone. Where was I before I was rudely interrupted? Oh yeah, rambling. That's all I do here. This is my life. It's just a weird rambling, sadness and depression. But do you ever say words like a bunch of times, right? Where like you'll just say words like ramble and then you keep saying it like ramble, 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 and then it just loses all meaning, and it's just a bunch of weird stringed syllables together, and you're like, why do I keep saying this word? What does this word even mean anymore? Because really, if you think about it, words are just a bunch of syllables in our mouth, like that we put, like they're just a bunch of random things. Like who who came up with the ideas of being like calculator is this thing? Or whoever said that calculate means to put two numbers together and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just kind of a weird thing to think about because the first one I ever did it with was hula hoop because I just kept saying hula hoop, hula hoop, hula hoop. And I'm just like, what do these words even mean anymore? And then I realized that they don't really mean anything unless you want it to mean something, if that makes any sense. Like, that's the weird thing about words is that they can start off meaning one thing, but then totally change. I mean, sometimes it can come off from the derivative, but that's few and far in between. That's really different. That's actually kind of weird to think about. I already said that like 20 times. Did I mention that it's weird to think about? Yeah, this is only stalling when I say things over and over again because I'm trying to think of more interesting things to say, but then I realize that I'm not really that interesting. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just stalling. Did I mention I was stalling? Hold on a minute. I'm stalling, so just give me more. I'm not funny, I know. How's your day, computer? My day's doing alright. I mean, it's final weeks, quarantine. Obviously, quarantine was a thing, but that's life. It's kind of funny. It was started March 18th, 13th. I can't count. 147,924,2,891. That's when it started. But it's crazy, right? Because I'm thinking to myself, it only feels like a week in quarantine, but for other people, it feels like 20 years. That's how it kind of feels like to me. It's just I don't understand because I feel like it just yesterday everything was back to normal, but it's been like 3 months now. And when you're stuck here 3 months just in your mind, it's kind of weird. And I kind of find that I don't like the silence, but at the same time, it's kind of therapeutic at times, but it's just I want people to talk to. So this is kind of why I'm starting this, is because I'm just gonna let it all out to myself because I'm a lonely kid. Not really. I'm trapped in my bedroom because I do that to myself. But I wonder why teenagers are generally more introverted than not, or at least they feel like they're introverted. I wonder if it's because they're at that age where they want to be independent, but at the same time they don't know what they're doing, so they just kind of give up. But like and they just kind of want to go alone, but they can't really go at it alone. So they're just kind of in that awkward stage where they want to be independent, but at the same time they're not. So they just get like so weird about it, like where they only stay with their friends. They don't really talk to their friends though about anything. Like it's just weird. I keep saying that word a lot. I gotta stop that. I remember I had a friend once who said that word a lot, and I always gave her crap about that. So, you know what? We're gonna do a bunch of synonyms. I wonder why English is weird that way. It's just like, and I think that's why it's hard to learn a bunch of languages too, is because it's just like, there are synonyms to everything. Everything has other words that mean everything else. And I'm just like, why does this exist? Yep, we're going 6 minutes of rambling around, and I don't even know what I'm doing with my. Um, so I was coding a game. It was kind of I coded a game actually. It's actually kind of a fun game. It was code.org, right? Which is a thing. It's kind of like JavaScript, but the game was dodging missiles and like doing, and you'd have to dodge missiles, and it was really fun to code because I really didn't know what I was doing. So what I did was I had my had to figure it all out myself, and that led to a bunch of chaos of me like yelling at my computer. But also, I felt so good every time I completed something. But it's funny how it started out was I needed to make a project. So originally, I'm like, what do I do? How about I set the velocity and just have like the plane keep going and never stop? And then I turned it into a plane eventually. And then eventually, and then I'm like, make the plane shoot. And I'm like, no, I don't know how to do that. So then I'm like, missiles. Let them dodge the missiles because that makes sense. And then it eventually just progressed to like there. But it's a really interesting journey because like I actually had to think about it. I had to like problem solve and I had to do it. And it's an odd thing. It's an interesting thing to code, and I believe that everyone should do something similar or try something new like that that strengthens their mind and like create something because you learn a lot from it. Not only about what you're doing, but about just about like problem solving and like getting over hurdles in your life, and it's a fun thing to do. Um, so changing topics because my ADHD just decided to bring up this story because I find this story very funny. Um, is one time I was sleeping, right, and I was having this dream. I don't really remember what the dream was. It wasn't that important. But you know what the last words in my dream were? By the way, that's not breaking glass. And guess what I wake up to? A sound that sounds suspiciously like breaking glass. So imagine my fear where I'm like, what the heck was that sound? And like then I feel my pillow fell because I'm on a loft bed, so like my bed's up high and there's a desk underneath and there's a lamp there. So what I thought happened was that the pillow fell, hit the lamp, and the bulb broke. Then I come down and I realized that my dream was right. It wasn't breaking glass. It was my thumbtacks. But think about how weird that is. Like, and to this day, I'm like still kind of creeped out by it because I don't know if it was coincidence or my mind making it up. Maybe it's a mixture of that both. Maybe it's not. Who knows? Dreams are weird, man, because dreams are like you thinking while you're asleep. I'm not a psychologist or anything. Obviously, yes, Dr. Owen, the podcaster. Ha ha ha. So funny. Um, no, I'm not a psychologist or anything, but we think in our dreams and what we do in our dreams, like they kind of, it's like a window into who you actually are, I feel. Like, I mean, there's a meme being like, oh, what my dreams look like, but then they always do have a meaning. They always do. I don't know what it is, but I know that, like, there's always something with it. Because that's how your mind works. It's how your mind processes information, but they process it in a weird, like, way that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But it just does represent something. Maybe it's not as obvious as people as other people's. If you like really think about it, like that's the same thing with people, what they're afraid of. You can tell what people are a lot about people by what their fears are. Like my fears are the dark, the bugs, just because I'm stupid. Bugs are just because I'm stupid. Knives, I'm afraid of. I'm also afraid of the dark, and I'm afraid of bad weather. You see, the knife thing, like, why are you afraid of knives? That's such a stupid contrived thing. But if you think about it, I'm afraid when someone's holding a knife or when I'm holding a knife around people because I'm afraid of what I can do with it. Because I can't control what people do with it, and I can control what myself is, but I'm afraid that I'll hurt someone with it, and I'm afraid of the damage that a knife can do, which leads to which of course you can kind of see where this is going. Storms, same thing. I can't account for it. That's something I can't plan for. Because one moment I'm sitting here, the other moment the tornado siren's going off, maybe. Or there's an earthquake, or there's something going to happen. And I guess, like, what it boils down is I'm afraid of not being able to plan for it. I'm afraid not being in control of it. Darkness, I'm afraid of because I can't see. I'm more of afraid of not being able to see. Now, the reason I'm afraid of not being able to see is because I don't really trust people, and I'm afraid that something's going to pop out. So it's all because of lack. I'm afraid of not being in control of the situation. I'm afraid of having variables that I can't account for. And that's kind of interesting. Like, I advise everyone to look at their fears that way and like think really deeply about why you are afraid of what you're afraid of. Because you might find and learn something about yourself. Who knows? I want to stop giving morals to your story. It's weird. Well, you know what? If you don't like it, then like don't listen to my morals. Live your life, and I'll live mine. Or you don't live your life and like live someone else's. But like I'd rather live my own life than live someone else's. If that makes any sense. Now you're talking stupid crap, Colin. Well, okay, that was a weird thing. I don't know. This is ramble. I'm rambling. Okay, don't at me. We're 15 minutes in, and I'm just talking to myself. This is really the episode of Owen Goes Crazy, not Ramble. That's a different episode. I started with talking about a calculator. I don't even know if any of this is actually going to be good. Stuffed animal. I have a weird thing on the bottom of my desk. Why does this matter? I threw it away. Where was I? Oh yeah. What I find kind of weird about this society is, you know how everyone preaches be themselves, right? And again, correct me if I'm wrong. I find it funny how everyone wants to be themselves, but at the same time, they model themselves out of people who are celebrities. It almost creates this weird situation. We're all preaching to be different, but by being quote unquote different, we're actually being the same. By like buying all these same brands, buying all these like food that we don't like, and like it's even amplified with more of the internet because now your opinions and mob mentality is voiced through the internet and thinking I've always had these opinions, like especially on movies, like where I'm like this movie, like walking out of the theater, I think it's good, but then listening to people on the internet, I then immediately think it's bad, and I'm thinking like the internet, because of majority, changed my opinion. Isn't that kind of weird? And I'm not just saying it's the internet; it's literally anything else. Like it could be a group of a bunch of dudes named Bob Dylan. For all I know, why Bob Dylan? Why did I don't know. I'm Bob, Greg, George, Fred, and his uncle Tom. I don't know, but like everyone's opinions and stuff, they're all kind of contrived from everyone else. So really, because we all try to form our opinions off information that we get, but really we get our information from other people, if that makes any sense. And we kind of form our own hobgoblin of who we are out of everyone else. So I don't know why I'm being super philosophical. I don't know who is it. Who the heck is going to watch this all like this? If you're at 16 minutes of this, 15 minutes of this, like drop a sub or like let me know, like comment down spaghetti and meatballs. I don't know. Uh, like this is something else. You probably heard that. Those are my siblings. Siblings are weird. Well, I guess I'm gonna end it off here. 17 minutes is not that bad for a first one. Okay. Subscribe. Follow my Instagram at Denton Chicken 42. Plugs. What do you mean? Plugs. Outlets. Yeah, it's a podcast, you dumb dumb. Yeah, follow all my stuff. Or don't, I don't care. This was Ramble, first episode. This is, if you like it, please like the video, and if you don't, then tell me why it sucked. See you later. I like feedback.